Hi everyone, it's EMS version 6 and we are going to upgrade it by adding a logging support. Logging is one of the most essential feature of any application used by software developers for debugging, monitoring and keeping track of what's happening in your application. Mostly, we use logging with exception handling mechanism to trace the broken functionality, but also used to track the flow of any specific functionality of the application. Logging is itself a bigger topic to understand. We will discuss it from scratch in the complete separate video, but for now, our focus is to understand the basic implementation of logging in the Spring Boot application. Logging implementation in Spring Boot application involves three steps. One is add required libraries. Second, provide the configuration of logback under logback-spring.xml file, and third step is add logging in the code. So in the Spring Boot, logging libraries are already included in the Spring Boot starter project. In order to verify, open the pom.xml and open this org spring framework dot boot pom file. Under this, there will be a org spring framework dot boot dependency entry and go into it. Here you can search logback. So here we can see there are two libraries and dependencies added related to the logback in the pom.xml, and this pom.xml is spring-boot-dependencies. So this is the pom file. It is the parent pom file which contains all the required dependency of the Spring Boot application. So all the required libraries are already exist, so there is no need to add any additional library in the Spring Boot application. Second part is the configuration. Just create a logback-spring.xml file under resources. Now the basic structure of this XML file is there will be a configuration root tag. Under configuration there will be a appender tag, and this appender tag, one is name and second is class, and further appender has a nested tag encoder, and further encoder tag has a pattern tag. Apart from this appender tag, we also need to use a root tag. Here we will use attribute level to specify the log level, and this root tag has one nested tag, that is appender reference. So this is the basic structure and minimum configurations we need in the logback-spring.xml. Let's repeat once. Top level we have a configuration tag. Under it there will be a appender tag, and in the appender tag we will use name and class attributes, and under appender we have a encoder tag, and encoder tag has a pattern tag. Now let's provide values to the required attributes, and here name, it can be used any. Suppose I am using appender for console logging, so I can take a name it as console, and here we need to use inbuilt classes. So here I am configuring this appender for console, so there will be an inbuilt class provided by logback, that is console appender. And for pattern we can use hours, minutes, seconds and then we can provide also the name of the thread. So let's test only these two values we are adding in the pattern. And next we have a level attribute. We can provide level like info, debug, error. So here I'm adding info as the root level, and under appender reference, this reference is basically a name of the appender. So appender name we have given console, so we will use here a console. That's it. Let's execute this application. So here you can see it's printing name of the thread as well as the time, but everything is coming in the same line because here we need to use a character which will be responsible to change the line, that is %n. Now let's re-execute it. Then we will use who is logger and the exact message. Let's re-execute the application. So this logs under console coming in the format we given in the pattern. How to get the reference of the logger? Now in order to add the log, we have multiple options. We can add logger as a info, and also we have many other levels like info, then debug, trace, error. So just add here info and try this. So let's recap. Whenever we want to use logger in any class, there are two steps involved. One, get the reference of the logger, and then using the object of logger, we have to specify the logger level like info, error, and accordingly we can pass any message. Save it and execute the application to test it. This is the log application started coming from the main method, and this log we just added at line number 14 in the coding. We have gone through the whole process how to use console appender in the logging, but it's not solving our problem because a requirement is redirect all the logs into the file. So we have to update logback-spring and add some configurations to redirect the logs into the file. So in order to use file appender, we need to create a new appender. And we can give name anything, but the meaningful name is file appender. Also we need to specify the inbuilt class. So we need file appender. So there is a inbuilt class file appender. So the logs will be redirected to a specific file. We have to provide the path of the file by using a tag file and provide the path here. And also we need to provide encoder and here pattern as well. So we created one new appender for file appender. It is very similar to the console appender. The only thing is we changed the inbuilt file name for appender and also provides a path to the log file. Now next step is we need to add the reference of this appender into the root tag and change the name of the appender. So let's recap. So in order to redirect the logs into the file, we need to use file appender and we need to create a new appender for file appender. So we created new appender with the inbuilt class file appender and given the name as file appender and also given the path of the log file along with the pattern, and then we added this new appender reference to the root tag. So these are the only changes we needed. Just save and execute the application. So once we refresh the project, then we can see there is a one folder logs, and under logs there is one file created, ems-sb.log. Just double click it. So now we can see all the logs that are earlier redirected to the console only. Now we can see all these logs in the file as well.